Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's town hall. There is so much going on, it's hard to describe it all. Orrin is on the road tonight because we've got a big meeting tomorrow down here in Southern California. So you're going to have to put up with just me, which I know is a big disappointment, and our guest. This is a big night. It's an incredible night because if you didn't see the breaking news on Fox, it's official. That's right. A stunning, world-shaking, astronomical 46 people withdrew their signatures, which means after the period is over, as of Monday, officially today, the 1.7 million verified signatures means I'm going to do it, whether you like it or not. It's on the ballot, Gavin. Okay. And now the games really begin. Now becomes the period where after the legislature fools around for a bit, is going to try to speed up, slow down, do whatever they can to make sure this election goes in Gavin's favor. And again, they're going to outspend us. They're going to outraise us. But the reality is, we, the people, and the way that we're going to get this done is exactly how we got done the recall. And when I get to Don Dix, our esteemed guest tonight, we're going to explain part of the way that we're doing that. And I want to give everybody out there a couple updates. But before we do, you know, one of the reasons, I had a reporter from the LA Times ask me today, they go, wow, do you think this is fair to the other candidates? And why do you think Gavin is trying to speed up the recall election? And I was blunt with the LA Times reporter. And this isn't my exact language, but it's going to come out that way because I'm only amongst a couple thousand people here. The Democrats and Gavin's camp are incredibly worried that every day he does something stupid or something comes out about something stupid that he's done. And I'm happy to say today is no exception. If you weren't paying attention, because it's really hard to keep up, and by the way, subscribe to Kevin Kiley's blog, but this story as he picked up on is from Cap News Radio, who also put out about the no bid contracts that Gavin put out a couple months ago. When Gavin Newsom was elected, he promised to help suppress the forest that caused massive fires every year in California. He promised that. And in fact, he got up in 2019 and said he was doing that. The reality is Gavin lied, and you can look it up. Again, look at Kiley's blog, look up the Cap Radio article. We'll talk about it more on our show Friday night. He exaggerated by 690%. Yes, you heard correctly. The amount of forest that they cut, because he cut CAL FIRE's budget by $150 million, which they used to clear forest in California. Gavin out and out lied. And as we enter fire season, and for those of you who don't know, this is a really personal story to me because my house burned because of a lot of that in 2007. And one of the basic jobs that the governor has is to provide us with safe infrastructure. I've said this over and over and over again. Gavin doesn't do it. In fact, when an emergency or alleged emergency like COVID comes along, Gavin doesn't handle it well. And that's a major reason that we need to recall this governor. And I don't want anybody there to forget it. They're going to have really fancy TV ads. They're going to call us right wing. They're going to say, look at these guys, 2 million citizens. That's a small portion, which I find ridiculous. The reality is, if this is California's last stand for the people, and there's lots we can do as the people, and that's one reason we've got Don on the show tonight. We, the people, have to spread the word. I'm going to say this at the beginning. I'm going to say this at the end because I know people join as time goes on there. We're bringing in 150,000 door hangers. We're bringing in 100,000 trifolds, which are also downloadable from the website. We are bringing in 50,000 remittance envelopes because we need to make sure that we continue to raise funding this fight. We're bringing in 5,000 of a new kind of lawn sign, which is easy to display. And all this merchandise is going to be centrally shipped There's none of this exchange for money. If people want to donate for it, it's great. And that's one of the things we use donations for. I also want to stress, which is a good lead into my friend, Mr. Dix here, that the radio show we do every Friday and what we do here, you have to continue to spread the word. It's more than about spreading the word of the recall. It's about spreading the stories that people have if you haven't been listening. And I really want to stress how critical it is. We're going to have Angela Marston on our radio show Friday night, but we have people calling in all the time. And we get stories, Orrin and I do all the time, about how Gavin Newsom has devastated their family. And even when these interviews, and Orrin did one with ABC News, I think 3 or 4 days ago, and the reporter listened into the phone call and just, quote, published the part about, well, they went a little conspiracy theory at the end, left out the part that this 80-year-old woman lost her 5 restaurants. Her husband literally committed suicide because of the shutdown and things that the state has done. Those stories aren't getting told. People's homes were burned down. These stories need to be told. And that's one thing that the town hall, the radio show, and everything we do are the platform. We at recallgavin2020.com need to remain the voice of the people. And that's really what this is all about. And that may be a bit of a serious tone compared to my usual jovial one tonight. But let's face it, we've got this on the ballot. Now we need to finish it off. And we're going to. The will of the people will prevail because they're going to outraise us, but we're going to outwit them. Now, the gentleman I'm bringing on next, I met, I think, a couple years ago here, and there's an important reason to bring him on tonight. We had one of the central of the LA Republican Party, and Don has done a lot of things in his career, and I think Don has emceed more events than Hammer himself, if you caught that pun, Don. And he does a radio show on 870, which I could only say because our radio show, which is pretty good itself, is on 790 KABC. But Don also is one of the, well, I used to like Don and think, well, I still like Don, but I used to think he was kind of normal. But then he called me a few months ago and said, well, I'm now chairman of the Riverside Republican Party. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure if you want condolences or congratulations, Don. But either way, what Don is doing in Riverside is amazing. And what he's doing is putting together a system that, frankly, as I always call out the Republican Party, should be doing all over the state, working in conjunction with what the volunteers did. And when Don tells you what he's doing in Riverside and how we're all working in conjunction together to take this state back, I want you to listen very, very closely. Because we, the people, again, not pockets of resistance, but blanket resistance across the state, Riverside, portions of LA, San Diego, Orange County, every county up north, too numerous to mention, are going to take our state back. And Don's going to talk a little bit about the mechanics. And Don, before I get started here, what exactly on 870, The Answer, which, by the way, is a pretty ostentatious name for the station?
I am, can you hear me okay?
What?
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine.
I just wanted to make sure I was connected before I started to answer. I am on AM 870 occasionally. The Morning Answer is a show that airs between 6 and 9 a.m. Jennifer Horn and now Grant Stinchfield is the permanent co-host. I sub whenever Grant or Jennifer are out. The radio show called The Jen and Don Show airs nightly at 6 p.m. on AM 590, which is the station that is heard across the populated areas of the Inland Empire, Riverside County and San Bernardino County. And so that show can be heard between 6 and 7 at night, and then again at 5 in the morning.
So let me get this right. People can listen to your show. Like, let's just imagine it was Friday nights.
Yep.
They can listen to your show 6 to 7 on 590, right? And then flip to 790 and hear Friday Nights at the French Laundry because that runs 7 to 9.
They can get the best of what's happening on talk radio by doing exactly that.
Okay, just making sure
Absolutely.
everybody out there. And Don arranged this very carefully to make sure that he didn't compete with us. But on a quasi serious note, and I'm quasi serious all the time, let's talk about what you're doing in Riverside. And again, Don, we're rather direct here on the town hall. The state you were at and the rapid state to which you're bringing it today and how you're doing it.
Sure. Well, I'm just a lowly community organizer. You are a big time newsmaker, and my hat goes off to you guys for what you've done. Just the other night, had the opportunity to speak to a small community group that was gathering, and there are these brush fires of liberty that are popping up all over Riverside County. I'm going to assume that they're also popping up in other counties as well. But on Monday night, we got around to the subject of the recall. And I'll get to what we're doing to organize our community in a moment. But the recall, most conversations in these groups get around finally to the question of the recall. And the first thing people were wondering is, who do we vote for? And I looked at everybody and I said, it doesn't matter who you vote for. It matters that people vote and answer yes on question 1. The most important job that we have politically as conservatives, as Republicans, as right-leaning NPPs, as right-leaning Democrats, the most important job that we have is finishing the job that you guys started. I had Cynthia Gabaldon, who's one of your great volunteers, speak at our Central Committee on Thursday. And I wanted her to tell people exactly how she and the other volunteers, like are probably on right now, had literally put their lives on hold for a couple of months, for 6 months, some for a year, and did everything that they could do to organize and make sure that as many people signed petitions. And what a shame and what a crime it would be if we didn't follow up that job and get Gavin Newsom gone. That is the most important job facing every Republican in the state of California for the next, whatever it is, 3 or 4 months, whether the election happens in September or if we get the extra time and we go to the end of October or the first week in November. The most important job that we have is to organize and get out the vote to make sure people know that they're going to get a ballot mailed to them, that it's not a coaster. It's not something to throw away, that they're going to get a live, real, meaningful, legal ballot in their mail, and that they should set that aside and make sure that they fill that out, answer yes to question 1, and then pray about question 2. Because the first thing that's going to divide us as conservatives is a conversation about whether we should vote for candidate A, B, C, D, or E. I mean, fill in the blanks. By the time this ends up happening, my guess is 200. It could be a different number, but who cares? Who cares who we vote for? This is about disrupting the left-leaning progressive political machine with a recall. That is the most important job, number 1. Now, how do we do it? What are the mechanics? So we do a training meeting every Sunday night for the program that I'm going to share with you in a moment that Mike was talking about. In that training program, I ask people 3 questions. The first question is, how have Democrats maintained political control in their strongholds for decades? Chicago, Baltimore, New York, cities all up and down the Eastern Seaboard. How have they maintained that political control? The second question is, how have they gotten control of the institutions of America that are supposed to be the institutions that keep us free and keep liberty true? That we're talking about the media, entertainment industry, the bureaucracies. I mean, the list is huge. And now we're even discovering it's the Department of Defense is now woke. So all of these institutions that are supposed to be about maintaining the republic are no longer about that. And the third question is, how did Barack Obama win the 2008 election? And then I throw in this bonus question. The bonus question is, what really is political power? And I want everybody to think about that. What is political power? Because that leads right into what Mike wanted me to talk about. The first answer is how do Democrats maintain political control of Chicago? Through something called a precinct captain system. They break down these political subdivisions into small little quadrants, and they assign people to make sure that people know how to vote. I mean, even in Chicago, one of the things I hear is if you want an extra trash can, you got to go to your precinct captain. I mean, they have that control at the community level. So it's the precinct captain that keeps control. How did Barack Obama win the 2008 election? Community organizing. He is the community organizer in chief. That's what he did before he got elected to be senator in the state of Michigan. So Chicago, Illinois, rather. I'll get it right one day. I'm a talk show host. What do you expect? Accuracy? So
at least you got the Midwest.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the Midwest. So he was a state senator, but before he was a state senator, he was a community organizer. And the bonus question, what's political power? Section 6 of the Constitution of California says all political power is inherent in the people. Well, we have the political power, but do we know what to do with it? You're right. It's not just Republicans. It's all people. But the bottom line is we got to make sure Republicans get out to vote. And if you're a Democrat on this call, you got to make sure Democrats get out to vote. If you're an NPP, make sure the NPPs get out to vote. I happen to be chair of the Riverside Republican Central Committee. So my job is to make sure Republicans get out the vote. But let me go to this question of political power real quick, because this is something that I think is important to understand about this recall that you guys have done. Political power is the ability to influence. When Benjamin Franklin when the founding fathers ratified the Constitution, Benjamin Franklin was asked by Mrs. Powell, "What form of government have you given us?" And he said, "A republic, madam, if you can keep it." Now, we all hear that quote. The important part was the madam part. The madam part's important because in that day, women couldn't vote, they couldn't hold political office, and they couldn't even own property. So why was he telling a woman, a republic, if you can keep it? Because what Mrs. Powell knew was that it was political power was the ability to influence. And that's how she got George Washington to run again to be our fourth president for a second time. So political power is the ability to influence. So when I was elected the chair of the Riverside Republican Central Committee, or the Riverside Republican Party, I told them when they were recruiting me, if you think things are screwed up now, just wait till I get a hold of them. But the one thing I knew about was political organizing. And if I got the reins to this party, I was going to organize this. Now, what Mike and Orrin and the other leaders of your recall effort had to do was to build a volunteer army in order to get those signatures. What if that volunteer army already existed? What if all they had to do was shove ballots and petitions into a pipeline of volunteers? How much quicker could they have gotten that recall done? Organizing, yes, Ellen, organizing is key. Now, what we're doing within the Riverside Republican Party is we're putting that process, we're automating that process, because what I don't have time or the budget to do is hire a bunch of volunteers in order to be able to go out and build this. So we had to build it with automation. So what we created was an automated journey from the time that someone fills out the application to volunteer to the time that they're now equipped to go build what I refer to as a permanent political infrastructure. That's what we used to have. That's why Orange County lost those congressional seats, because they turned their back on the grassroots. What do consultants need to do in order to keep their jobs? Is make sure that there's no one around that's willing to volunteer to do their job. So they did away with the grassroots in Orange County so that ultimately they lost those congressional seats. And what we're doing is organizing the grassroots and developing the connective tissue in our communities that the Democrats know needs to be there, that they have organized in Chicago. They don't need to organize that in California. Why? Because they have unions. The California Teachers Association, the SEIU, all of the private unions that are the Teamsters unions, even some of the law enforcement unions, that is their precinct operation. And when they need to get someone elected, who shows up to walk the neighborhoods? People that are paid by the unions to go out for the weekend and walk. What we need to build is a citizens union, and our neighbor to neighbor program is exactly what that is. So when someone signs up to join this, they go on an automated journey where they will receive emails and training from start to finish. And when they're done, on their phone are the 100 low-hanging fruit Republicans in their immediate neighborhood for them to go out and start organizing. We just had an election in the city of Riverside for 3 city council positions. The turnout, Republican, Democrat, no party preference, was 25%. 75% of the voters didn't turn out, except in one ward, the ward where we actually did a get out the vote operation, and Chuck Condor won by 10 points because we did a get out the vote operation using this plan to phone bank. So when somebody signs up to volunteer, they get the training they need. It's all automated. The emails go out as soon as they hit different benchmarks in their training. More emails go out guiding them in that journey. And then finally, we download the 100 Republicans onto their cell phone for them to go out and talk to and begin to build that connective tissue. So that's what we've done in Riverside County. I will tell you that there are other counties that are starting to build something they're calling their precinct operations, but nobody's doing this in an automated way. And what's going to unfortunately happen is if they don't have volunteers to move these people through a training process, number one, because they're using technology that most people aren't familiar with. If they don't train them on that, they're going to end up choking on their own success. So we have a way to move people from start to finish on an automated basis. And then we have an infrastructure to manage them. We've turned our entire central committee into a precinct captain management system. So that's the essence of what I briefed Mike about several weeks ago. And I said, your volunteers who are in Riverside County and our county party operation to get people out to vote, we need to join forces because we have an automated way to put them in front of the people that we need in order to lead them to get out the vote in their communities. So, Mike?
I want to stress a couple things here, and I see people on the feed here. This is a nonpartisan movement, but I want to stress something very important. The people that are the most angry at Gavin and the situation in the state will come out to vote. I'm going to say that again. The people that are most angry at Gavin Newsom and the situation in the state will come out to vote. And that scares the hell a little bit out of Gavin Newsom. I want you to really think about that before I go back and on what Don said here, because he's trying to keep people complacent, and a lot of them are going to go, it's good. They got my $600, not a problem, you know? I don't need to leave the house. They deliver liquor, they deliver food. I'm good. Here's the reality of the situation. We need the Republicans to vote as the base, okay? And frankly, in every county, if the Republicans get out and vote and bring in the NPPs and bring in the Democrats, we are one people Californians. Don's developed a system. We in the recall have a system. There's other systems, as you know, that are out there. Frankly, I don't give a damn what system you use, but I need you to listen and go door to door and recruit people to go door to door. And Don, I think when you say neighbor to neighbor, that's a really big key. And I know Don has a much more complicated long-term mission than the recall, right, Don?
Well, it is long term because the next time somebody comes with an initiative, signature gathering process to put an initiative on the ballot, I want them to be able to gather those signatures quickly and easily in Riverside County.
Correct. And that's kind of my point. So the training for Don's long-term mission is important. We are in a battle for our lives here. Both go together. Now, again, I see someone said, yeah, if we have to go ballot harvest and pick them up, that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to make a little fun of that too. The ballot harvesting is not a machine. That means picking up ballots from people that agree to let you take them. Okay. It's not a big training session. Okay. The reason I brought up about your long term here is the mission of a party itself, be it Democrat or Republican, Libertarian or American Independent, is more complex in the long term. The methods that's Don using that we have in the recall are really simple. I want you to, if you're going to work for Don Dixon Riverside, by the way, it's the same database. It's our voter database. It's available through us. You know this on the call, watching on Facebook. Get more people to help you. We have downloadable for legal purposes to go to the door and say, here's the training. Hi, I'm Mike Netter. Recall Gavin Newsom. Here, right? Here's a brochure. Make sure you vote. Here's a lawn sign if you want to put it up. Without awareness that there's an election taking place and participation, without awareness of participation, a lot of us have wasted a lot of time. Vote yes. That's the key that we need to go out. And if you're working for the precinct project that Don has well organized in Riverside, Don, what kind of participation are you having so far?
When you say participation, what do you mean?
Do you have one person? Do you have a million people?
Oh no, we just finished. We just officially launched this on June the 17th, and we moved 150 people through the process in our beta phase, where we were trying to break things and find the divots that needed to be fixed. So now we are averaging 4 to 5 people just word of mouth signing up per day. We haven't even begun to officially market this. Once we officially start marketing this, our goal is by the time of the election to have 400 people that are fully trained and deployed throughout Riverside County.
And Don, when I talked to you and you had what Pink Floyd calls a momentary lapse of reason and took this job as head of the Republican Party, what date was that?
Well, the official election was January the 20th.
So and you just launched this on June 17th. So in 6 months, you've turned this around, you've organized a system, and you collected 150 people, and your program is 5 days old. I want everybody to grasp that out there, 4 to 5 people a day. 4 to 5 people a day, and if we push this statewide, what Don's talking about, it's spreading the word, everybody. Is this complicated, Don? I mean, I know the system is complicated. Don's team's done data crunching. Dan, our guy's done data crunching. We've got to get the word out. And getting the word out means everybody out there who's listening to this, pass the word on and have them pass it to another 5 people and then pass it to another 5 people. The recall got done because of the power of exponential growth. And our exponential growth, we've got the tools. The message is really simple. Get rid of him. Okay?
Yep.
You vote yes. Well, what do you think of this candidate? And what about, I really like the beard on candidate number 46. And I heard one of them used to be another.
You've had the most incredible day. Today you've given away more than $15 million in prizes. Oprah Winfrey.
There you go. There's going to be game shows. Doesn't matter. Vote yes. Vote yes, vote yes, vote yes. And by the way, a voter turnout of people voting yes will get this done. And that's all we really need to do. I started off at the beginning of the show. And by the way, what an opportunity. I don't care. Again, I know, Don, you're Republican, and let's face it, secret, I'm Republican too. But the reality is, what an opportunity to go talk to people. Right, Don?
Oh
mean,
my gosh, yes.
you
People
knock,
are
well,
hungry.
you knock on their door, man, and normally when you say,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm with the Republican Party, and we've got an elephant. They have a donkey. How do you feel about farm animals?" I mean, here's a great conversation starter for you, right? What we have is a recall. Tim, I see you're on camera. You got something to say?
Oh, in just a few moments. Go ahead, guys.
Okay. So again, get a hold of Don through the Republican Party, but more importantly, you've got to spread the word to recruit everybody to get these materials out. Again, understand, I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. There's a lot of things behind it. We're the voice of the people. And Don, this is something good to carry back to your team too. I
Yes.
see a lot of polls back and forth here, right? Well, all the polls say, overall, the polls say this: 14% of the people that are most likely to vote haven't made up their mind yet. We need to convince that 14% and make more people likely to vote. But here's really what I want to say. They do these polls and say, we've discovered that 52% of the people are not unhappy with the way he handled schools. And we've discovered that 54.6% of the people aren't unhappy with the way he handles small businesses. But I'll guarantee you they're never the same person. Or if they are, they're unhappy with one or the other. Every day, a reason comes out that Gavin needs to be recalled. And I started this show talking about what he did long before COVID came along. We've got to keep that on the front burner. Everybody out there has a reason to be ticked off. We have to get them peacefully, for those of the press that are watching, ticked off to make sure that they vote and vote yes. Don, do you have something intelligent to say?
I was going to say the thing that ticked me off the most about Gavin Newsom was in April of 2020. It is at the end of his press conference, buried in the last 10 minutes. He had the audacity to say, and besides, the pandemic is a perfect opportunity for us to implement our progressive policies. So on the back of the misery, the economic misery, the family misery, the death, the sickness, on the back of all of that, he had the audacity to say, oh, we're going to use it to take this state in a more progressive direction. That's the one that just sticks in my craw.
Yeah. I mean, we call our show Friday Answer the French Laundry because it's cute. But here's the reality of it, guys and girls and everyone out there. Gavin Newsom is an elitist, arrogant, rich politician. And note, one of the reasons he's raised $10 million or whatever the hell he's raised is $3 million came from Netflix. 500,000 came from the husband and wife team that own Fuji Water. The rich support Gavin. The people support the recall. Tim, I know you're waiting to do something exciting there.
In a few moments here.
All right, just give me a hand signal or something here.
I will.
Let me say again, the way to do it is this, okay? Take action like you did in getting signatures and take action now. Tonight is the night. Today is the day it became official. Game on. That means go to Robin. Those of you watching on Zoom, or go to our website if you don't know who Robin is, and make sure you get some merchandise shipped to you. We've got it coming in. We're not selling merchandise. We're asking for donations. We need to get the word out. Make sure you tell people to go to the website. I get questions all the time about, well, where do I get that? Where do I see that piece? Where do I get that video? Recallgavin2020.com. And also, for those of you that are watching on Zoom tonight, you understand how the election works. Oh my God, it's a ghost. Most people don't. I'm going on a radio show tomorrow night at 4:00, whatever that is, to explain again to a rather sophisticated audience how the recall works, because I had the host on the phone last night who didn't know how the recall actually worked. We're not, does splitting the vote hurt? No. Vote yes. vote yes. If we as individuals support a candidate, go work for them. But it doesn't matter if we don't vote yes. And it doesn't matter if people don't vote. I can't stress that enough. Or do you want to say something or just show us that you're trucking along in your car looking really busy? I guess that settles that.
Well, as we're coming close to the end of the show here, Dawn, has been wonderful having you on tonight. Do you have any final words to say for tonight? And then we'll turn it over to Mike to make an announcement for Friday. And then after that, Orrin wants me to play a short little video to end this town hall.
I'll just end with this. On the 23rd of July, we are throwing a huge recall party in a 45,000 square foot hangar. It's going to be a concert. It's going to be a party. And if you're in the Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange County area, it's right off the 91. You need to know about it. Just keep tuned to the website, to the Riverside County Party website. We'll have information up there shortly. But pencil, if you're in that area, pencil in July 23rd. It's a Friday night. I have it on good authority. Mike Netter might be there. We might have some signs. We might have some door hangers. It's going to be a huge party with a lot of fun and a concert. And so if you love old 70s rock and roll, that's the place to be. Friday night, July 23rd.
And let me add to it that events are springing up all over again. I have some events I'm going to remiss. I'm not going to do them all tonight. But here's the story, everybody. Events are starting up again. There's a little bit of a lull. I'm attending probably, 25 events over the next 35 days, if I remember correctly. I'm speaking this Saturday. I'm not going to name them all off. Don is holding a mega event, right? And Don, I understand that. Is there a charge to get in this event?
It'll be, it's a fundraising event for the Republican Party, but there's a lot of goodies and benefits. I think it's $25 or $30 for the night.
I have that kind of money. That's nothing to do something like that. And my point is, it's a fundraiser. Get out there, take a little bit of money, help us do what we need to do. If you have a little bit of money, help us pay for merchandise. Let's get this done, everybody. And remember, tell people not only about the town hall, but tell them about the radio show. It's more than just getting yes votes. Friday Nights at the French Laundry is our powerful voice that cannot be silenced by social media. Don't have to wait for a reporter to write something, give a reporter an interview, and they leave half of it out, like happens quite often. It's our voice. So Friday Nights at the French Laundry at 7, tell people about it. We get a pretty good mix of people calling in every week different. This week, we're going to have Angela Marston and another business person on, and Orrin in studio. All right. Along with Eric Early, to kind of have a roundtable to talk about how it hurts small businesses. We try to do a theme every week. This is about us, the people. I doubt I'll ever have the CEO of Walmart on the show. We will have small businesses on. We have the little person on, not the little person, but it's about us, everybody. And we as an aggregate are going to get him out of office. Tim,
Amen.
I got about 7 minutes left here.
Oh yeah, we got a little bit more time to keep talking. So
Right, and
when you were talking to me, you were talking about a roundtable for the Friday night the French Laundry.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to exchange here. I probably should put my glasses on so I can see the clock. What we're doing is this. We're going to have them in studio and kind of talk about. Angela's going to be talking about that film you've seen about the Pineapple Saloon. This is really about the unions and the production companies. The unions and the production companies, the big, are basically allow themselves to stay open. It's big unions, it's big tech, it's big production, it's big everything except for the people of California. The other gentleman we're going to have on had a restaurant, opened up another restaurant, runs a production company for acting things. He got shut down after being told he could open. But again, the unions are allowed to stay open. We need to report on the things. There's a whole thing on elections that came out this week too, if you didn't see that, which oddly enough has not been reported by the mainstream media. And this isn't a conspiracy theory thing. This is about the Election Integrity Project, along with Judicial Watch, announcing again that it sure looks like there's a lot of people. I'm not saying it's swayed an election, but there's a lot of people that maybe were registered twice, maybe were on the rolls that shouldn't be to vote. They have the numbers county by county. So we need to work with election integrity in the long run too. These stories come out all the time. But if you don't tell people about these forms that we have, the stories don't get heard. We're shouting into the wind for the other side. And again, what an exciting time that we have right now. This is the day going forward. I can't stress that enough, where we are officially certified. Well, is the election going to be the 14th? Is it going to be the 21st? It's going to be sometime soon. And every time you want to talk to somebody about your favorite subject, I got news for you. I didn't do this prop very well, but who cares? This is your lead-in. Because this is something about going on in the far, far future, or something that might be taking place in a few months. Whatever your hot button is, there's a recall election happening. This is a hard date. It's a reality. All our work, love that, Tim. There you go. All our
right here,
work,
folks.
okay, that we've done in setting this up, all your issues that you have, everything that you need to know about anything to do with conservatism, elections, bequeathed, behested payments, anything you want to talk about, small businesses, this is your opening subject. Whether you're going door to door for Don Dix, whether you're going door to door in another county talking about initiative, whether you're going door to door in Los Angeles to recall another official like Gascon, for example, just throwing that out there. What a great lead-in. Everybody out there may not be aware of a lot of things, but almost without exception, I do say almost because there's a lot of out there, they're aware who the governor of California is. And don't be afraid to go up to anybody. That election is taking place. Gavin Newsom is going to scramble, and Gavin Newsom's biggest fear is that we're doing exactly what Don said, organizing like a union and getting out there and pushing the word out. Orrin, myself, Tim, Robin, Susan, Dan, right? We just represent you guys. We're out there putting together resources as best we can to give you the ability to get the word out. I don't have any trifolds. Go to the website. You can download them and print them. I don't know where to go or who to talk to. We've got a form right on the website under Take Action. Pretty easy. Send us your zip codes. We'll send you Democrat voters if you want. We'll send you independents. We'll send you Republicans by zip code and by precinct, so you can walk a precinct. Download it. We'll send it over to you in Excel. Send it to your leaders. We want to make sure we know who you are. Get the word out. You want to call people? You want to text them? Phone numbers we have on file out of the voter registration file. This isn't a big top secret project. We're actually practicing what we should be in a democracy, the ability to talk to other people. And before we roll to this, as we roll out of time, I want to remind everybody out there who participated in initial recall, and I've said this on stage, and I've said this a million times. When I went booth to booth in Orange, and we traveled all up and down the state, it took me a while to figure it out because I'm not the brightest bulb in the shed, as you know. But it occurred to me that after months and months went on, I go, I'm a little confused. What am I seeing everywhere? Why? I realize what I'm seeing smiles. I am literally seeing Democrats, Republicans, and nobody was asking, are you a Democrat or Republican? They say, I want to sign the recall. But more importantly, what I saw were people discussing California politics. And smiling as they did it. The recall booths, when I spent time at them, or whatever we want to call them, were really things of joy. I don't think I ever went up anywhere. And some people go, I'm out here in the sun, I'm gathering signatures, I'm really annoyed. You saw people come up, they were smiling, they were happy. The people that came up We have almost nobody was grumpy. They were happy to sign the recall, but more importantly, they were happy to have that conversation. And we're giving you again, like the petition, those conversation openers. Get out there and spread the word. Recruit other people to spread the word. No one here, unless I'm missing it, is Superman. No one is Superman, meaning none of us can do this by ourselves. Have to go out and recruit people. Get them on our volunteer list, do what you can, make sure they tell them about the town hall, the radio show, whatever you could do to keep them engaged. Because let me tell you something, whether you like it or not, we have about 90 to 100 days left to change California. It is our last stand.
It's a
Yeah, so
fleeting
Mike,
90 days.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry, Don.
Sorry. No.
Go right ahead, Don. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just emphasizing that 90-day period is going to be gone before you know it. And so every day you got to wake up with that urgency. What do I need to do today? How do I help? What, every day, this is an everyday mentality. Sorry, Tim.
No, that's okay. So before we close this show off, Steve, all these business closures and an extreme backlog on the unemployment, I want to show you all a quick little video on how Gavin Newsom is spending your taxpayers' dollars. So I want to close off this town hall meeting with this short little video and wishing you all a good night.
You've had the most incredible day. Today you've given away more than $15 million in prizes.
Oprah
to
Winfrey,
people
eat
who've
your
got
heart out.
vaccinated.
$1 million for you, $1 million for you. Imagine being in politics giving away money.
I
About
know.
as good as it gets.
Well,
Imagine being in politics giving away money. About as good as it gets.
Well,
So that's how Gavin is spending your taxpayers' dollars. Anything to say about that, Don?
No, I mean, it's like the thing that that strikes me is that the people listening to him don't realize, most of the people listening don't realize exactly what he's doing. That's money that came from our pockets, should have stayed in our pockets, and yet he's making a game out of giving it back to us, and we're like scampering around for the shekels that are landing on the ground. It's disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting. Goodness. Mike,
California.
any final words?
Yep. In honor of the lotto that Gavin is running, Californians out there, everyone, thank you for everything you've done. We've got 100 days more to go. And in honor of that lottery, let's not gamble on our future. Let's make this recall of Gavin Newsom a sure thing. See you Friday nights at the French Laundry, my friends.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. KABC.com.
Thank you, Don.
Have a good night, folks.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Tim.